So let's talk about a $2 trillion question. What do you do when your entire economy is built on a single resource and you know the clock is ticking? Well, you pivot. And that's exactly what we're exploring today, the absolutely massive pivot happening in the Gulf right now.
Okay, let me ask you something. Where in the world is the most ambitious, most jaw dropping economic transformation happening right now? If you're thinking Silicon Valley or maybe Shanghai, well, you might be surprised. The real action, it's all happening in the Gulf.
And look, this isn't just a bunch of fancy marketing slogans. The numbers back it up big time. The non-oil economy across the Gulf Cooperation Council, that's the GCC, is growing at almost 4.5%. I mean, to put that in perspective, that kind of growth is leaving most other global economies in the dust. This shift isn't a future plan. This is happening right now. All right, so let's really get into it. We're calling this the Gulf's Great Pivot, and it is absolutely a high-stakes race. We're talking about entire nations basically re-engineering their economic DNA for a world where oil isn't king anymore. And right at the center of this whole thing, you've got three main players: Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. Now, each one has a totally different game plan, a unique playbook, but they are all sprinting for the exact same finish line: a diversified economy and a much, much bigger seat at the global table. So first up to the plate, Saudi Arabia. If you had to pick just one word for their strategy, it would be scale, with a capital S. They're not just, renovating their economy, no way. They are building a completely new one, right from the ground up, with these mind-bogglingly huge giga projects. The whole idea is to just leapfrog everyone else and create brand new economic ecosystems, like all at once. And the master plan driving all of this? It's called Vision 2030. But don't think of it as just some boring government document. No, this is the foundational blueprint for a whole new Saudi Arabia, one that's not built on oil. It's about reshaping literally everything from their cities to their society. And get this, it's already working. The kingdom just crossed a huge milestone. For the first time, the non-oil part of their economy is now more than 56% of their GDP. That tells you everything you need to know. This pivot isn't some far-off dream. It is happening right now, today. So, if you're an investor, where do you look? Well, the opportunities are just massive and they're everywhere. In tourism, you've got these insane futuristic cities like NEOM, stunning resorts on the Red Sea. Then there's real estate and construction, with a project pipeline worth a mind-blowing $1.7 trillion. And they're not stopping there. They're jumping into advanced manufacturing. We're talking EVs, semiconductors. All this activity is turning Riyadh into a serious tech hub, pulling in hundreds of multinational companies. Okay, let's shift gears to our next player, Qatar. I like to think of them as the strategic player. They just hosted the World Cup, and now they're very, very smartly using that massive energy wealth to fund a super targeted, really intelligent plan to diversify their economy. Now, to really get Qatar's strategy, you need to remember one number: 142 million tons per year. That is the absolutely colossal amount of liquefied natural gas, LNG, they're aiming to produce by 2030. This massive expansion, it's the financial engine that's powering literally everything else they do. And that really is the core of their whole strategy, right? They're doubling down on their biggest strength, natural gas, to pay for a future that has nothing to do with it. It's like they're using today's fuel to build a totally different engine for tomorrow. And you can see this play out all over the place. I mean, obviously energy is still number one, but look at what else they're doing. They're squeezing every bit of value out of that World Cup infrastructure for more sports and tourism. They're building enormous industrial plants like the $6 billion Ras Laffan complex, and they're pouring money into tech with their smart city programs. All right, and that brings us to our third major player, the UAE. Now, the UAE is different. They're the established leader, right? The most mature market in the whole region. So for them, the strategy isn't about building from scratch. It's all about innovating, doubling down on tech and sustainability just to make sure they stay ahead of the pack. So what really makes the UAE stand out, especially for investors? It's their business environment. It's literally built from the ground up to attract foreign money. They offer 100% foreign ownership in most sectors, which in this part of the world is an absolute game changer. That's why it's such an attractive and stable place to get started. And their focus? It's locked on the future. The UAE is placing huge bets on renewables. They're shooting for 50% clean energy by 2050.
They're already a global powerhouse for AI and fintech. They just keep expanding their incredible logistics network. And yeah, their real estate market is still one of the hottest in the world. Okay, so we've seen the individual game plans. Now for the fun part. Let's put them all side by side. Let's do a little head-to-head comparison. How do these three powerhouse nations really stack up for an investor looking at 2026? First up, let's just look at the raw numbers, the projected growth. And yeah, all three are looking really strong. But your eye immediately goes to Qatar, right? It's projected to just surge ahead with an average of 6.5% growth. That, right there, is the economic muscle of that massive LNG expansion kicking into high gear. Okay, now let's break that down a little more. For Saudi Arabia, you can see the growth is all about those giga projects. The best way in? Probably partnering with their massive public investment fund. Over in Qatar, it's that LNG surge we talked about, and for investors, the financial center and their free zones are the places to be. And then you have the UAE, where growth is coming from their leadership in tech and finance. Their famous free zones and the Golden Visa program, that's your clearest on-ramp. And if we slice it by sector, you can really see where each one shines. If you're into renewable energy, you're looking at Saudi Arabia and the UAE. For tourism and real estate, honestly, all three have a compelling story, from Saudi's giga projects to Qatar's sports focus. But if your main focus is a world-class, already built tech hub, the UAE is still the clear leader of the pack. So, when you boil it all down, what's the big picture here? Look, this is so much more than just moving away from oil. What you're really watching is a fierce, head-to-head competition to become the world's next great centers for energy, for finance, and for innovation. The race for the post-oil future is officially on. And believe me, the winner is going to reshape the entire global economy. So after seeing all these different playbooks, the real question is, who are you betting on?
Please like and subscribe for more trading content, and then subscribe for more daily, weekly trading insights.